Good morning, students. Students, today I am going to teach you the chapter number 10 of your first flight book, and the name of the topic is The Sermon at Banaras. Students, in this chapter you will read about the first preaching of Gautam Buddha, which he gave in Varanasi, and you will know how he got enlightenment. So let's start the chapter. Students, when Gautam Buddha was a young child, at that time he was known as Siddhartha Gautama. At the age of 12, Gautam Buddha was sent for schooling, and after 4 years when he returned, after getting knowledge, then he got married with a princess. He had a son and he was living comfortably in his palace. When he was 25 years old, at the age of 25, he was unaware of the suffering, he was unaware of the sorrows of human beings. But by chance, he got a chance to wander the city, and then he saw an old man, a sick man. He saw the funeral procession, and at last he saw that there was a monk who was begging alms. So when he saw these sights, his heart melted and he was moved with these sights. So he left his palace and in search of the spiritual knowledge, he came out into the world. Continuously for 7 years, he wandered, and at last, taking an oath, he sat down under a peepal tree that he would not leave that place until the enlightenment came. So, after 7 days, he got the spiritual knowledge, and he named that tree Bodhi tree, means the tree of wisdom. And then he started giving his knowledge, then he started preaching about his new understanding of life. And firstly, he gave his first preaching in Varanasi, and a part of that sermon is given here. So students, open your book and see at page number 134. Kisa Gautami had an only son, and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine, and the people said, "She has lost her senses, the boy is dead." Friends, in this story, there is a lady whose name was Kisa Gautami. Kisa Gautami had only one son, and the son was dead. So, in her grief, she carried the dead body of the child to her neighbors, asking them for medicine to revive her son. And people thought that she had turned mad because of her sorrow. At length, Kisa Gautami met a man who replied to her request, "I can't give the medicine thy child, but I know a physician who can." At last, Kisa Gautami met a man who told her that he was unable to provide her the medicine, but he could tell a person, a physician, who could give her son the medicine by which he could be revived. And the girl said, "Pray tell me, sir, who it is?" And the man replied, "Go to Sakyamuni, the Buddha." Kisa Gautami was in grief. She was very sad. So she asked the name of that physician, and the person told her to meet the Sakya Muni, the Buddha, Gautam Buddha. Kisa Gautami repaired to the Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my body. Kisa Gautami told her grief to Gautam Buddha also. The Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seed. And when the girl in her joy promised to procure it, the Buddha added, the mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent or friend. When Gautam Buddha heard, then he said that he wanted a handful of mustard seed. The lady became very happy and she promised that she would bring a handful of mustard seeds. Then Gautam Buddha added that the mustard seed must be brought from the house where no one has died. The handful of mustard must be brought from the home where no one has lost a child, no one has lost a parent, no one has lost his dear one. Poor Kisa Gautami now went from house to house, and people pitied her and said, here is mustard seed, take it. But when she asked, did a son or daughter, a father or mother die in your family? They answered her, alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. Don't remind us of our deepest grief. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. So Kisa Gautami now went from house to house, and she asked a handful of mustard seed. People provided her. But when she asked if a son or a daughter, a father or a mother died in their family, they replied with sorrow that the living are few, but the dead are more. And they told that she must not remind their griefs. Kisa Gautami became very weary and hopeless. So when she went from house to house and she was unable to find a single house where no one had died, then she became very tired and hopeless. She sat down at the wayside watching the lights of the city as they flickered up and were extinguished again. So she sat down. Being tired, she sat down at the wayside and she started looking the lights that was coming from the city. It was flickering up and it was extinguishing again. At last the darkness of the night ran everywhere, and she considered the fate of men, that their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. So when she continuously saw the light that was flickering up and extinguishing again, then she came to know that it is just similar the life of the human beings also. And then she came to know and thought, how selfish am I in my grief. Death is common to all. Yet in this valley of desolation there is a path that leads into immortality, who has surrendered all selfishness. So she realized that she had become very selfish in her grief. Death is common for everyone. Yet there is in this area, in this world which is full of deep sorrow, there is a path that leads a person towards the immortality, who has surrendered, who had given up all his selfishness. The Buddha said the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief and combined with pain. So Gautam Buddha gave his teaching that the life of mortals means those who bound to death, who bound to die. The life of mortals is trouble, brief, and it is combined with pain. For there is not any means by which those have been born can avoid dying. There is not any way, there is no means by which the persons who has taken birth can be avoid of dying. After reaching old age, there is death of such a nature are living being. As ripe fruits are early in danger of falling, so mortals when born are always in danger of death. He gave the examples of the ripe fruits. As the ripe fruits are early in danger of falling. Similar, the life of mortals, when they are born, they are always in danger of death. As all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals. He gave another example of earthen pots made by the potter. He gave his preaching that as all the earthen vessels made by potter end in being broken, when the earthen pots break, then the life of that earthen vessels end. Similar is the life of mortals. When they are born, death is compulsory. Both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. Both, whether they are young or adult, whether they are very wise, they are fool, whether they are wealthy, they are poor. Everyone has to fall into the power of death. Means everyone has to die. Everyone has to leave this world. Of those who overcome by death, depart from life, a father cannot save his son, nor kinsman their relations. And the person who has been overcome by death, they are unable to save anyone's life. He gave another example that a father cannot save his son, or no one in this world is here who can save anyone's life from the power, from the grasp of death. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting deeply, one by one mortals are carried off like an ox that is led to the slaughter. Gautam Buddha said that when the relatives, the near and dear ones, will be lamenting, will be expressing their sorrows, one by one mortals will be carried out. So the world is afflicted with death and decay. Therefore the wise do not grieve, knowing the terms of the world. So this world is affected by suffering. This world is affected by sorrows, death and decay. Therefore the wise man, they do not show their grief because they know that it is the terms of the world. It is the law of the nature that who has taken birth, they have to die. Not from whipping nor from giving will anyone obtain peace of mind. If we are whipping or we are showing our grief, so by this way we are unable to get the peace of mind. So on the contrary, his pain will be greater and his body will suffer. So when anybody is weeping or showing his grief, So he is unable to get the peace of mind. And what will be the result? His pain would be greater and his body will suffer. He will make himself sick and ill, yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. His body will be sick, weak, and yet the dead persons are not saved by their grief, their weeping, their lamentation. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complaint and grief. The person who wants the real peace, they should come out from the arrow of lamentation, from complaint, from grief, and from weeping. He who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrows will become free from sorrow and be blessed. At last, he preaches that the person who has drawn out the arrow and he has become composed means calm and controlled. And the person who has become calm and controlled, he will get the peace of mind. And the person who has overcome all sorrows, he will become free from sorrow and he will be blessed. So, the moral of this chapter is that death is common for everyone. So students, revise this chapter well and do the exercise. That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.